You're about to let go of all those limitations in your life. You are the creator of your reality, is the ultimate message that I believe my magic has.
What's up, guys? Today I'm interviewing Anson Chen. He's a magician and hypnotist from China. After understanding that as humans we can experience the same thing but still create completely different stories around it, he decided to experiment with magic to create glitches in people's minds and shift their reality for a few seconds or a lifetime for entertainment or healing purposes, to change habits, limiting beliefs, or phobia. And stay until the end to watch me get hypnotized live. Let's go. You are here in Bali now, and it's also considered, the island of gods in a way. There's something special, like a special energy here. Have you noticed this as well?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Like it blows my mind in many aspects, and I'm constantly surprised by the different types of magic that you find in Bali. Some things are inexplicable,
Right.
and part of that, part of my biggest kind of interest is that too, like to explore different stories in magic and mysticism, and in how people conceive the idea of magic. Yeah, so I find that very interesting.
So there's still things that kind of like fool you. You don't have all the answers. Like as a magician, you don't know all the tricks. There's still like mysterious.
I don't know. I think that here's the thing: whether you're a magician or not, if you're someone who wants to find an explanation, you always will. So even if I were to perform a miracle right now, like this glass would float up in the air.
Right.
If you want to, and if I really did it with genuine, real magic powers and miraculous energy, if you're the kind of person who wants to find an answer, an explanation to things, you're going to probably say, oh, he set up this table with a magnet, or he has some wire. So if you're the kind of person who are constantly seeking for explanation, you'll always find it. But if you're the person who are seeking for mystery, you will find more mystery. So no, I don't really see it that way. There's always things, although my mind do want to look for explanations and can always come up with an explanation, but sometimes it's nice to lie in that middle way where you have some ideas but you don't know, and be comfortable with the not knowing.
Yeah. What would you say is the thing that you are seeking?
What am I seeking? Magic in different forms, I would say, yeah. And that encompasses conjuring, which is, the art of deception.
Yeah.
And also different interpretations of magic. And also one thing that I'm really interested in these days is how we can look at the same thing and yet see something completely different.
Yeah, that's right.
And I also feel like that is that subjective experience, that subjective nature of how we look at things is part of what makes magic possible.
Right. Because that's kind of like the thing that everybody's talking about at the moment, is we're all one, but we're all different eyes, different perspectives. So there's not one truth. There is not one reality.
Yeah.
How did you come to becoming interested in magic at all?
Yeah, this is funny. It's over 18 years I've been in magic. I started when I was 12 years old. I was in Hong Kong, and I was kind of like looking for, I don't remember what I was looking for, maybe a DVD or a video game. And then I kind of found this space, this little shop at the time called Magic Tech. And there was a guy selling stuff. He was like funneling with a deck of playing cards, and there were some strange objects behind him. And yeah, what was that? I thought. And I just kind of approached him, and kind of that portal just opened up. It's like one thing led to another. I was like, oh, do you want to learn that one? Like, yeah, I do. And then the next thing. and the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing. But then before that, actually, I was always curious. Even way before I remember, like 5, 6, 7 years old, whenever I see something, whether it's an object or a situation or a phenomenon that I don't understand, I would just stay there and be wowed by it. But it wasn't until maybe 12 years old that I realized, okay, there's this thing that people explore, this mystery, this magic thing, that is kind of a thing, that there are people around the world who like to explore that. So that was the official, I guess.
Did you have this feeling like, why aren't more people interested in this or trying to figure this out?
Yeah, I think yes, I do, but also I understand why. I think number one is, yes, I do think, like, why aren't people interested? Why aren't people interested in uh, human perceptions? Why aren't people interested in something that is larger than us, something that is unknown to us? Why aren't people interested? How do you not be interested in that? I do think that. But also I think there are certain archetypes or stereotypes of aspects of magic. I'm talking both about conjuring and even spiritual mysticism that people kind of just like, oh, no, that doesn't, that's not me. So I do think people explore magic in various different forms. Psychologists, they are exploring magic. Artists are exploring magic.
Yeah.
I would say advertisers, marketers are exploring magic.
So by magic, would you say the outcome, the impact of what it is that you're doing in reality?
What do you mean?
Like, for example, you mentioned a marketer, right? So you create an advertisement and then you notice how that affects people and how that makes them act in a certain way.
Right. Yeah, so there are many ways to define magic, but one of the ways I define magic is the conscious rearrangement of symbols to create change.
Yeah.
Right? So that definition makes people who do magic, a little bit larger than people who make cards disappear or coins disappear. Artists are magicians to me. Healers are magicians to me.
Yeah.
Musicians can be magicians to me. Marketers. Yeah. People who have the ability to use their art and craft or their knowledge to bring about the change of state in other people. Hypnotists, yeah.
Would you say that you have, this skill more developed than other people, which allows you to, be on stage and kind of give this wow effect, this surprising effect that not many people are coming across every day?
Yeah, I mean, of course, because I study that. I study that. I spend a lot of time thinking about how people think when I do this, or how does this piece of illusion work on this type of people. So that helps me when it comes to presenting that. Yeah, presenting, but also that's one aspect, the study of deception, the study of illusions. But the other aspect is theatrical elements, right? So Batman in his training talks about the two things that he needed after a symbol, which is Batman. He said deception and theatricality. And I thought, wow, that was a beautiful way to describe it. So yes, one aspect is to study how the mind works, how perception works. The other aspect is to how do we present that? How do we make that into something that is worthwhile, something beautiful, something that touches people.
Did you have a moment in your life where you felt that you need to recreate your reality, or you need to shift your reality and create this kind of different dimension for you?
Yeah, I think ideally we do that every day, right? Ideally we enter every day with a fresh mind, and every moment, even though if we're doing the same thing, we can have completely fresh new perspectives. We might be doing supposedly old things or running our habits, but yeah, that's part of how we continue to enjoy the magic and the miracle of life itself.
Yeah. And you said earlier you were navigating between, you know, your art and business, but at the same time it was always kind of interconnected. Can you tell me more about your background in business, but also in the art scene?
Yeah, I can. So, yeah, my dream was always to be a magician, to perform, to explore. I never kind of made a conscious decision about it, but it's just something that I do every day. I wake up, I think about that, I write about it, I study it, I practice it, I talk to people about it, I perform. And business is something that came about as, you know, with the situation of my family. I moved to Shanghai to take over my mother's business, which is Spun 18 at the time. And yeah, and that was at the time a responsibility, and I ran with it. I wanted to see, part of me also wanted to see if I could do that and make a contribution to the team that existed and also my family. And it turns out, yeah, I guess people can wear different hats. It doesn't have to be one thing that limits you to who you are. You don't have to be a writer. You can be a writer and you can be a chef.
Of course.
Right? You can be a business person and a performer. You can be, many things, a photographer and a dancer if you want to. You know?
Absolutely. And at any point you can change as well.
Yeah. And these are just kind of name tags that we put on temporarily that they don't necessarily have to limit us.
So would you say that you're more yourself now that you're more dedicated to your passion, or not mandatorily?
No, I don't like that type of limitation. I think it's such a popular way of thinking to say I'm myself when I do this, I'm not myself when I'm doing my taxes, I am myself when I'm eating, I'm not myself when I'm drinking. You know, you're always yourself. Like you're just doing different things. Some activities are more pleasant. I obviously enjoy performing, I enjoy writing, I enjoy creating, but yeah, every day I'm myself. I can't not be myself. Can you not be yourself?
I have, yeah, at some point. I was not creating, I was not doing any art, I was not fully expressing myself.
Right, but you're still you, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Right?
Yes.
So you can't not. Like you still, It feels good. It feels good to be creating. It feels good to be writing. It feels good to be performing. That's for sure,
yeah. What have you uncovered from, you know, your work so far when it comes to how the brain works? Like, what is something you didn't know when you started, and by interacting with people, you figured that out?
Yeah, I think one of the key things is that we do not see reality the same. Right? That's really one of the biggest ones. It's like we are looking at the same thing, but we're not. Yeah. I think that's one of the key fundamental things. Another big realization is that we create these stories in our head, and our reality consists of stories. You know, like that, and we all live different versions of the same story in reality, right? Like what you experience, what I experience, what people watching from this camera can be completely different. I'll give you an example, right? I mean, we're talking about like being in Bali for a while, and things are shut for a while, right? Like the airport is shut. So I think it would be a good time to do this kind of experience. So imagine the airport opens and you get to travel anywhere in the planet. Only to think of a place that you like to visit. Obviously, we haven't set this up. There's no way for me to know what a place is. But do you have a place in mind? You didn't change your mind? You have a place in mind?
Yes,
okay.
Very clear.
So think of that place. Simply think of that place right now. Okay? Okay, you're clearly visual, so there's something. It's also interesting. There's something contrasting. The way you see this place is different from the way other people see this place. This is not a place you've been to.
No.
And yet, there is a nature element to this that you're fascinated by.
That's right.
Whereas most people think big, bright, light, superficial city. Yes. Correct? Hold on a second. Okay. All right. We're going to continue, although the sound is coming in. I want you to just... This is interesting. A lot of people say there's not a lot of rich culture, but you see almost like a sense of mystery in this place that you want to dig deep and uncover. You want to explore this place in ways that other people don't. Is that right? Because most people go to this place for party and to drink alcohol and to shop and buy stuff.
Yeah.
But also, I'm not getting a sense that you want to go to anywhere like Miami or New York.
Even more superficial.
Dubai. Yeah. Yes, you're thinking of Dubai, yes? Yeah, good.
Good job. Wow. I don't know, I think of palm trees, deserts.
Yeah.
Dolphins.
Enough. Dolphins in the desert, yeah. That's not what people think about either. Yeah. Whales, fishing.
Snow.
Yeah, surfing.
Yes.
Yeah, good places to visit. Yeah. Make sure you check out Dubai if you've never been. You want to surf, you want to see dolphins. Desert, that's the perfect place.
All the things.
Yeah.
Do you use a lot of your intuition? Like, how do you explain it?
Explain what?
To guess like that.
Oh, that's a tricky one. I present illusions. So what I do is I use words. I use the understanding of the mind to create the illusion of mind reading, right? To create that experience for people. And I know what that feels like. I know how it feels like. It literally, when it's done right, it feels like I am seeing what you are seeing in your mind. Even though seeing a palm tree in Dubai doesn't make sense to an everyday person.
Yeah.
But to create that illusion so that you can have the experience of that is what I do. And
right.
How exactly I'm doing it, that's less important. I'm not gonna. It's my part. It's irrelevant to you how I did it. But
you can tell me.
But the key, no, I won't. But the key is more like how was that experience? Like the experience. I know. You walking away will probably be like, I thought of a place in mind anywhere in the world, and it felt as if he reached into my mind and was able to pull that thought out. That's what that's what you would have told as that story, and that story clearly could not have happened. So you created a version of your own reality that was true for you. But a magician is someone who creates that story and allow those myths and those miracles to live on in that way. Because it goes beyond this moment, right? Because a week from now, you're going to be talking about this. A year from now, when you're in Dubai, you're going to be thinking, there's no palm trees. Right? So, but it all stemmed from this moment. And that's wonderful.
I love it. And now I need to find a palm tree there.
You're not going to find a palm tree. Only at the hotel. Only at the Four Seasons Dubai with the artificial beach and the artificial dolphins.
Exactly. Got it. Okay. Yeah, I understand now. Like when you're talking about, entering people's minds, I really felt like like you saw something that I didn't think anyone could have access to, if that makes sense. It's like almost you're feeling understood, like you feel a special connection. Yes.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm. Do you believe that we have 6 senses?
I believe we have more than 5 senses.
Mm-hmm.
And we can call that a 6th sense. I believe we can call that our intuition. Some people call that a gut feeling. Some people call it your girly power. I don't know, right? Yeah, there seems to be something that is beyond our thoughts that's there. The 6th sense. I mean, I don't necessarily rely only on that when I perform on stage for 300 people.
Yeah.
Because that could be a hit and miss.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like to think so. Yeah, and I also think that some of the creation and the illusions I create is to honor that. You know, like what would it look like if we can just use our 6th sense and
in a way
pluck
that is
a
controlled
thought out of that? Yeah, and what would that look like? And to bring out those questions.
Right, because it's visual. It's like you put it in 3D. It's not just.
Yeah, to bring it into an experience. Yeah.
So when I researched about your story, I saw that your mother passed away, right, when you were younger. How did that affect you? How did that affect, the further of, your life and your decisions?
How did that affect me? I think it made me very close off. It certainly made me switch off multiple parts of my emotions, probably. But at the same time, it also encouraged me to pursue my passion and my art, because she was that kind of a person in the role of, well, she played that role in my life. So, yeah, I don't know. There's no simple answer to that, but it definitely, in positive and negative and all aspects of that richness of life, it made me the person I am today.
Right. And, on the topic of, negative, positive emotion, how that can impact in a beneficial way, but also darker. Do you think there is white magic, black magic, like right and wrong, in the sense that now you have this power, you have those skills that you can use to manifest things that you want, or use it on other people to get them to do certain things? Is there, a right or wrong when it comes to magic?
I guess there is a right or wrong. And also, I don't think I have a power. I don't have special powers, I don't think I have any special powers more than anyone. I have my hands, I have my mind, I have my words, I have my thoughts, I have my emotions, and I learn to use them in ways that, that probably, like people don't think about before. But we all do this. I mean, the word abracadabra in magic, in Hebrew, means as I speak, I create. Right? We all have the ability to create reality. So magic in itself, to me, I don't think is bad or wrong. It's more how we use it and what is the intention behind which we use it. Magicians, in the traditional sense, conjurers, like to debunk very often the art of fortune telling, as if all fortune tellers have this hidden agenda of taking advantage of weak-willed people, or these healers have these deceptive intent to cheat people for money. Some do, but that's also not the case for most people. I know fortune tellers, I know psychics, I know healers who have genuinely a beautiful heart, who want to help you on part of your journey. And I think it's probably ignorant to only look at one aspect, you know. So yeah, I don't think it's good or bad. I think there are people who use, for example, hypnosis to do bad things.
Yeah.
There are people who use hypnosis,
like
pickpockets, or my friend Jeremy, who unfortunately passed away. He made people clean his houses for 3 hours.
What?
Right? Yeah.
How does that work?
In the same way as how everything works, but you know, but other people use the tools of hypnosis and words and language to help people get rid of mental barriers, fears, or stop smoking, stop drug addiction, or to overcome creative blocks, right? That works. So is that bad? Is the tool of hypnosis bad? Is it good? Is it white? Is it black?
It's like social media, it's a tool.
No, that's just bad. No, I'm joking. Social media, yeah, exactly. Social media, you can use it for good, to spread positive messages. You can use it to fuel more addiction, or get people to buy shit. You know.
What is the thing that saddens you the most when you look at society? Like, do you feel like you want to make a change in something? That you want to free people from something?
I think it's the repost culture. So it doesn't sadden me. It doesn't really bother me, because it's just like people do what they do and whatever. But I think it's problematic that people take someone else's thought and deliver that message and allow that message of someone else's to represent their voice. And the problem I see with that is, well, first of all, you're not thinking when you're, like someone you admire write something, you go, oh, yeah, that's what represents me now. First of all, that doesn't take very much on your part in terms of your own nourishing of your voice. I think that's one, the repost culture. Number two is that voice can so easily be slowly guiding you, slowly changing how you, like let's say you're a big fan of Oprah and you like her post number 1, you're like, oh yeah, we should all be kinder to each other. Okay, you do that, you repost. Oh yeah, we should breathe. Yeah, okay, you repost. And then slowly, but then her message could change. And you're still just being this robot and reposting. And I feel like that's a lot of the basis of miscommunication that we have now, whether it is on politics or on conspiracy theories or on COVID or vaccine, which we're not going to get into.
Yeah.
But it is that, right? It is one of the biggest fueling force is that people take a thought and just look at this. Oh, you think about this. I'm not gonna, because I just repost, but you take a look at this. I mean, like that just creates so much unnecessary noise, I think, and I feel like noise is a problem.
Do you have like a statement, when it comes to your art, like if you had to put it in a nutshell, if you had to like put it in like a slogan or a simple message, what are you trying to do really beyond the magic?
You are the creator of your reality is the ultimate message that I believe my magic has. Whether it's art or performance or magic or writing, I think it's to show different aspects of reality that that ultimately all our realities are subjective, and because they're subjective, then kind of you're the boss. You get to create that reality for yourself. Do you want to be saddened by people reposting stuff on social media? You can, right? Or do you want to, you have the ability to change that story. I believe that's a very liberating thought.
What's one thing that people can do to become more sovereign of their lives, like more empowered, and understand that they have control actually?
I think one thing is to pay attention to the stories that you have in your mind, that the stories that are running in your head, and to first recognize them as stories, and then see that it is one version of a story that you can choose to adopt. And if it's a helpful story that makes you feel empowered, then keep running with it. If it's not, then turn it off or switch to a different one and see what happens. Kind of with a curious mindset, not necessarily you're better if you're empowered, or that you must overcome that negative story of yours. Some people enjoy a sad song, so that's okay.
I see. Yeah. What is one thing you have witnessed, like where you saw maybe somebody transform after hypnosis? You know, like they thought in a certain way, or they were doing something, they had an addiction, and then suddenly it disappears when they never thought it was possible. Do you have some examples of that?
Yeah, I mean, so in my hypnotherapy sessions, I work with people who are addicted to cigarettes, drugs, alcohol, you know. It's amazing how once you change that story, how it can have a ripple effect on your reality. So yeah, there are people who come in with years of substance abuse, and within one session they walk away free and never touching that again. Not everyone, but it blows my mind. It still blows my mind even up to today. Yeah. Even until today, I'm like, wow, how does that work?
Because it's like you're reprogramming a computer almost. You're like,
yeah.
Delete, change, add a new file.
Yeah, and you know, like they're smokers for 20 years. They smoke for, you know, a pack a day. They believe they're addicted. They believe that it's impossible to quit. They believe if they quit, they'll be stressed, they'll be fat, they'll eat a lot, they'll have pimples,
all the reasons why
they'll not look cool, they won't look like a bad man that they look like, or whatever. And you kind of break down their stories and snap them out of it, and you go, and they go, oh, and I'm not actually losing very much from letting go of nicotine.
But is there a replacement usually? Like, do they fill that blank with something else? Like, now I'm gonna have a lollipop every day instead of a cigarette.
Well, generally speaking, we also don't yes, the short answer is yes, but generally speaking, we also don't replace it with something that you eat, something you drink, or any kind of chemical substances. It depends on the protocol. It depends on what we're doing. Some people find it useful to breathe, and breathe they can. So that's good. Some people find it useful to walk out of the room for 10 seconds and just get some fresh air.
Right.
Because if you look at a cigarette addiction, often you are going out. Well, first of all, there are over 3,000 chemicals in a cigarette. They're mostly stimulants. Stimulants increases your heart rate, your blood flow, but it doesn't relax you. And yet that's what most people say when you ask them, well, why is it that you smoke? It helps me de-stress. That doesn't make sense. Stimulants don't help you de-stress, right? So what is it that they're doing? So when they go out, usually they leave the restaurant, or they're having awkward conversation or whatever. They leave the restaurant.
Yeah, that's a good excuse as well.
Of course. Yeah, it's a massive social thing, right? They leave the restaurant, and then they go outside, change of environment, which is good for kind of a reset of your mind. And what do? They start doing breath work, basically. They hold. Do it again. 3-4 times.
Yeah.
Your mind is going to relax, even if you are holding an invisible cigarette. You know.
That's a new concept.
And so that little bit alone just blows their mind. It's like, oh, that story that you've been telling of the fact that you like that you smoke to relax. That's not true. So what else? What else have you got? So yeah.
What kind of data have you collected from, either people attending or participating in your shows, or, clients that you've had in sessions? Like, what are the things they want to access in their lives, or what do they miss?
Yeah. So, love, right? That's what we ultimately, love and happiness is what we ultimately seem to be seeking for. But to access that, people seem to be, what they're actively really doing very often, I notice from my experience, this is no data, is the avoidance of pain. So often we get into mental loops or addictions because we don't want to feel a certain pain, right? Whether that's a fear or an anxiety or just you don't want to feel sad, and therefore you go distract yourself with social media. Often these problems come from that. We don't want to feel pain. And because we don't want to feel pain, we use things to cover it up. And the act of covering that up also covers up our ability to experience joy and happiness.
It numbs you.
Yeah. Also, you still eventually have to pay for that pain because there's so I've been reading this book called Dopamine Nation. So the author uses the analogy, the metaphor of like a balancing scale.
Okay,
yeah?
Gotcha.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. So, but one thing, when one thing goes up, it has to rebalance. But if we're always chasing pleasure, it never the pain never has an opportunity to rebalance itself. Eventually, we have to pay for it, and that's when people who abuse social media or any kind of substances end up having to pay for it.
Right.
That's why they get anxious, depressed, or whatever.
So when is a good moment to think like, that's it, like now it's time to do something about it? It's time to change the story.
I don't know. When you feel like it's a problem, I guess. Yeah. When it also, I guess also if you're open about it, if you're not like, given that you're not hiding this aspect of your life, if other people tell you got a problem, you probably should start thinking about, if other people are like, oh, maybe you should drink a little bit less, then maybe you have a problem. Because it also takes a lot for people to say that, right? But I'm not saying that's the only, that's the only kind of way to look at it. But I don't know if it's hindering your happiness, then change it.
I would love to experience some hypnosis with you.
Okay. Do you have a thing that you like to achieve or overcome?
What could be some examples? Because
it could just be general limitation or a fear that you have, if you have one.
Yeah.
You don't even have to. If you're comfortable, you can share that. If you're not, you don't have to.
I have one thing in mind.
Yeah.
Because also you mentioned breathing. You mentioned breathing
Yeah.
earlier. I've had some breathing issues for years. And when I looked up at the meaning, like the spiritual meaning, it's like taking in life, like allowing also the pleasure, I guess. And so I'm thinking maybe something like this. Maybe it's a fear of abundance. Like, does it make sense at all?
Okay, so put your feet flat on the floor for me. And just, again, imagine what I actually imagine. Get into it in any way that you would like. Okay, are you left-handed or right-handed?
Left.
Left-handed. Okay, then may I borrow your right hand? Okay, look at your hand. Look at the lines. Focus your eyes on one spot. As that hand gets closer and closer to your face, you can begin to notice that the focus starts to change. When you notice your eyes, close your eyes and sleep now. Go deep, 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 deep asleep, knowing that you are in a safe space. Every word I say, every sound you hear can take you deeper and deeper into this aware internal space where Helen is in charge of her reality. You can go deeper and deeper as I count from 5 to 1. Every word I say becomes your reality. 5, 4. Every breath you take brings you deeper and deeper. 2, 3, 2. Going even deeper now. 1. Go there 10 times deeper. That's right. Going deeper and deeper. Feeling good. Letting go of all need for an outcome. All need to make this right. All need to succeed. There's nothing to do. There's nothing to achieve. You're about to let go of all those limitations in your life. In the next breath, imagine you can drift out of this room, leaving your body behind, drifting higher and higher, leaving everything behind now. All that fear, all that limitation, all that doubt. Drifting higher, leaving this building. I wonder if you can leave Bali. Even higher and higher. Above the clouds. Leaving planet Earth. And you look down and see that planet. Visualize between where you are and planet Earth. You can see a target. Like a target for archery. And in the center of that target, there is that fear. Whatever you want to call it. Fear of success, the fear of abundance. See that fear in the center of that target. That's right. You can let that go. See that fear right now. And in a moment, Helen, you're going to hear this sound. When you hear that sound, I want you to imagine you are that arrow. Shooting through the target, through the center of that target, through all that fear, and off to the other side, a side of complete freedom. I assure you, there is a life on the other side of that fear. Today you're going to let that go. However, you need to be brave about this because as you go through the center of that target, you're going to feel that fear appearing in your body, in your mind for a split second. But that will be the last time this ever bothers you. It will never bother you again. I promise. So look down now. See that target. See it clearly. Take a deep breath of air in. Up to the other side now. Allow light to enter your entire reality. That's right. Breathe in that light. Breathe in that abundance. Allow every part of your reality to be filled with that light, that joy, that sense of freedom, that love. That's right. See the people you love. See those people who believe in you. See their faces. Them smiling, that's right. Now take all that light, all that love, drift back into this room, Helen. See yourself sitting there, completely free from that fear. See yourself sitting there in abundance. See yourself sitting there, successful, in your own right, being yourself in your own way. Take all that light and drift back into that body only as quickly as you're ready to accept all those suggestions. That's right. I'm gonna count to 5. On 5, you're going to feel absolutely refreshed and recharged, and the harder you try to look for that fear, the more impossible it is, because that's going to be gone from your life forever. Every word I said about that fear is going to continue to unfold as it completely disappears from your life. Starting from today, it will never bother you again. 1, realize the power you have. The power of your imagination, the power of your unconscious. 2, everything goes back to normal. 3, that fear completely melts away. That change integrates with the rest of your mind, the rest of your body, the rest of your unconscious. 4, return to your body, slowly returning to the room. 5, when you're ready to accept that reality, you can open your eyes.
Oh my god. Wow, that was intense. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Alright guys, see you for another episode. Thank you for watching and see you next time.
Thank you for watching, and if you guys want to taste magic, I've put a link down below with 50% off Black Magic Alchemy. It's a reishi and chaga mushroom elixir that enhances your mental clarity, boosts your immune system, and decalcifies your pineal gland, the source of your creative intuition. See you next week for another episode of Undress My Soul.